My name is Katie McIntyre, and I'm your host for the Loving Cup Elevate Your Gratitude podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, 2018, and I'm live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. So today, I have some guests with me who really got me thinking about some of the things that I'm grateful for. We live in a really beautiful part of the country, and I'm grateful for the lakes and the seasons and the smell of a cornfield after a summer rain. I'm grateful I have my senses and that beautiful things like lemons and basil and peonies and birch trees and my kids' hair are things I can smell and savor. And I'm grateful I can move and run and feel the air on my face. I'm grateful for my family, for the lakes we jump in and sail on, and for summer nights where I still get teary-eyed when the national anthem plays before the first pitch. That's right, I'm grateful for hometown baseball. And I know my guests are grateful for baseball too. So with that, let's welcome my guests today. I have Shane Truman from Union Springs and Adam Winslow from Auburn, and both from the Auburn Doubledays. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks, Katie. We appreciate being here.
It's good to have you here. So let's start off by having each of you introduce the other. So Shane, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, I would like to introduce Mr. Adam Winslow here. Adam is the general manager for the Auburn Doubledays. He is a guy that has a strong belief in community. He grew up in Auburn. He spent his entire life here. He got married here. He's raising a family here. And one of the big things that I like about Adam is that he goes out of his way to help our community. So everything we do as a Doubledays family and as an organization isn't just about how do we make money, how do we bring people into the park, but it's how do we interact with our community and give back to our community and help our community with the resource that we have of a great place like the Auburn Doubledays.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Nicely done. So now, Adam, it's your turn.
I don't know how you follow up. First of all, Shane gets a raise starting tomorrow. Nice job, by the way. Shane Truman, assistant general manager, handles the community relations side of things. The reason for that title really for him was he far just relates to the community. Like he'll give the shirt off his back. You know, some things that we always talk about is, you know, let's not give, I need you to have a shirt on. Let's find a way to find a shirt for somebody else. Shane is so giving, he's so family oriented. He just is what Auburn Doubledays is about, is really what he brings to the table with his family and the giving that he does, and understanding that it is a business, but at the end of the day, we can have a little bit of everything. We can run a successful business and give back to the community, and that's what Shane does. And if you know anything about Shane's resume, that is completely the definition of giving back. So
beautiful. It's a perfect title for you.
I like to think so, and I enjoy the title because I do love the community. You know, I'm a transplant to Auburn. I'm a transplant to Cayuga County. I come from the southern tier, from the Horseheads, Elmira area, and it's very similar to this area. So when I moved here, it was a seamless transition. My wife is from Union Springs. She grew up in Union Springs, and I just found it to be like a new home, a place where I felt comfortable right away. And I was fortunate enough to work for Adam back in 2012 and, saw that same kind of gratitude and compassion that he had. So when we had the opportunity to work together again, it was just a seamless transition to be a part of something so great that's bigger than myself and that actually gives us a way to help and give back.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about gratitude, and if you can share with me something that you're grateful for from the past year.
The past year, I would say the opportunity to come back to the Auburn Doubledays. Like Shane said, I was there in 2012. Had two young kids, twin boys at the time. Just the career and the family didn't mix at that time, being so young and wanting to be there first and foremost for them. So, I kind of moved on to something a little bit more, I would say, stable from a family side of things. But then being able to have the opportunity to come back, hasn't even been a year. Well, actually, it's been a year this week, I think, for me. Being able to share that with my kids is a huge thing. I think with my kids, we used to drive by and we used to go to the hockey rink, and they would remember just being newborns. Daddy, why don't you work there anymore? Like, wow, who remembers that? I think we take for granted how smart actually kids are in that respect, and the opportunity came about in kind of a freak thing. And my kids are at a different age now where they're 6 years old, and they basically rule the park and the baseball field and the stadium and the
I have
clubhouse.
a 6-year-old. I know how that goes.
Yeah, and they really rule everything, right, in the grand scheme of things. But being able to have that second chance back, and to do a lot more things that I didn't get to do the first time that you should have done. I think you learn most from your mistakes that you make, not necessarily all the successes you have. And there's so many successes that I've truly had, but at the end of the day, the mistakes are the ones that really learn something from. So I guess I'm really thankful for that.
Perfect.
For me, it's a very, I've had a lot to be really grateful for this past year. Probably the first thing is I have a just over 2-month-old baby at home. I have a new little girl named Nina. So I'm very thankful that I have a new little one. She is my third in the family. Very thankful for my wife that it was a relatively easy and seamless pregnancy and delivery, and that we kind of completed our little family. As always, I'm grateful, to be alive, to be a part of a great community, to work for a place that I feel passionate about and that I really care about, and also looking at what the Doubledays have done in the course of a year. Not only have we turned a corner with the perception that we've had in our community, but we've also turned a corner in what we're doing for our community. So I'm really thankful to have the opportunity of a guy like Adam and like Andy, who's not here with us today, to really take something like the Doubledays and turn it from a business that's just trying to attract people to sit in a seat and watch a game and have a good time, to doing something that's allowing our community to grow and strengthen together. So we'll talk about what we call 52 for You in a little while here, but that's also something that came about organically that I'm also thankful for, is that we have an opportunity to give back. I come from the nonprofit world. I come from a place where what I did every day was helping other people and giving back. So when I came here, that was one of the things that I wanted to do, and I'm very thankful that Adam gave me an opportunity to work with him to create something like 52 for You and what we're doing there as well.
That's awesome. So how about if you think about your whole life? Is there something that stands out in your whole life that you're grateful for?
Well, my family, obviously, it's always an obvious answer.
It's a popular one.
My wife specifically, my wife and I grew up together, actually graduated high school together, didn't get together formally until college. Kind of on a freak thing. I was kind of in I wouldn't say a dark place, but I lived the college experience to the fullest and didn't realize really what my purpose was.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to SUNY Morrisville and SUNY Brockport. Took a couple extra years to get through. I think that's why I'm so much smarter today, I think. But really, she kind of became my why, which was awesome. And obviously to this day, for what she puts up with me, it's pretty crazy. The hours that we put in on trying to do what's right, not just for our family, but the community too, like that. I'd have to say that's probably what I'm most grateful for, because I probably wouldn't be here without her. So
I hope to meet her.
So for me, obviously my family is a huge one. I have a similar path to Adam, only it took me a little longer to get to a decent place in my life. I spent 5 or 6 years really in a bad spot, and had some family issues when I was when I was about 16, 17, caused me to kind of downward spiral. And really, I guess what I can say besides my family is I'm thankful for second chances and third chances and opportunities that arise. I went back to school when I was 26. I graduated from Wells College when I was 30 with my bachelor's degree. And without second chances, without the help of other people, without the ability to have some thought and to have some real insight into myself with the help of other people, I don't know where I'd be today, whether I would be alive still, but I'm really thankful for the individuals that helped me along my way and my path. And, my wife has been a huge asset to me since we met in Ithaca almost 10 years ago. So without her, without the people that have been around me, there's no way that I would be able to be sitting in this chair right now sharing with you what I'm thankful for. So,
Awesome. That's awesome. No, I love that. Second chances, third chances, and opportunities, for sure.
Yeah.
So how about if you can tell me what you're most grateful for in the other?
Wow.
Let's get personal.
Yeah. Shane's listening abilities. I kind of bend his ear quite a bit, and I overanalyze everything, and that's probably an understatement.
A little bit.
But he doesn't just knee-jerk on what his reaction is to my comments. He thoroughly listens, because I question him all that, like, are you going to answer me? Or he's like, I'm just taking it in, like, give me a sec. Like, he's trying to understand where I'm coming from with it, from not just my seat, from a business side, but from a personal side, I think.
Absolutely.
So being able to just sit there and listen to my craziness, because, he's very grounded and I'm up in the clouds, so I think we balance each other very well. And that end of it, always trying to get to the same outcome, I would think. I think we're pretty on point with what outcome we're trying to get. Sometimes we take different paths, or I don't necessarily explain how we're going to get there, maybe. It's probably but I got the vision in my head, and he kind of makes me spit it out into a puzzle so he can kind of see what I'm seeing.
It's awesome.
I would definitely say his would be listening ability for sure is pretty on point.
Well, I appreciate that, honestly. And, what I would say I'm most thankful for is, Adam and I are pretty close in what we do, but Adam's also my boss. So in the grand scheme of things, I answer to Adam. To have a boss who's willing...
By the way.
Oh, no. To have a boss who's willing to talk to you about the direction of the franchise, the direction of the business, what we need to do to grow more successfully, and actually take your input and run with it. He doesn't just listen and then brush it off and throw it away. It's more of, okay, what do you think, and how can we work together to put both of our ideas and our thoughts into place? And I would say the second thing with Adam I'm thankful for is sentence fragments. He is the king of sentence fragments. So when we speak, what happens is he spits out sentence fragments. And it's my job, as he would tell you, to put them together and to analyze what he's saying and really put him into a thing that we can go to somebody else and talk about.
Without question.
His favorite saying is he's ADD and has DVR, so there's a lot of things that he misses. So he relies on me to take some of those things and kind of rework them into something that we can go to other people with. And so I'm really thankful to have a relationship with my superior and my boss that allows me to use my strengths to benefit not only the company but our relationship as friends as well.
That's awesome.
No, I mean, it's just, we spit out sentences. My wife has the same problem. Like, it's not. I know. I spread the wealth of putting the puzzle pieces together for that piece of it. I think it's because we're just so passionate and excited to get it out. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just like, this is what we this is what we want to do. Or this is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then, and you can't do everything yourself. Like, that's just, for anybody that thinks that, I think they're crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, we need
nobody's
other people.
invincible. Yeah, I mean, that's the way of the world, and I think in a small time from a franchise piece and really personal, that I think that's why we define ourselves as successful in ways, because it takes everybody to make somebody successful. If that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. So, in terms of the double days, talk to me about what you're most grateful for.
Wow.
I mean, I can speak to this honestly. Is I'm really thankful for the community that we're a part of. The community that we're a part of in Auburn and Cayuga County and the outskirts going into Seneca County, here in Seneca Falls and Waterloo, we are a close-knit, giving, caring community. There are so many people that are, like Adam said, that would give the shirt off their back, or they would find a shirt somewhere else to give to somebody who needed it. The amount of programs that we have to help people who are dealing with mental health issues, who are dealing with drug and alcohol issues, who are dealing with poverty, who are dealing with all these things that some of us take for granted. Our community really is giving in that respect. And so to take that from a Doubledays perspective and say, how can we give back and how can we do the same thing that our community does as a whole, I'm really thankful that we have the opportunity to do that. We have a platform that's so different from any other business, I think, in our county. We are the only professional sports franchise in Cayuga County, and I think the only professional sports franchise in Seneca County, Tompkins County, and all of our surrounding counties. We have a great platform to be able to bring a message of positivity, to bring a message of giving and compassion back to the community, and I think that's something that's been lacking. with the Doubledays. So I'm really thankful to have someone like Adam, someone like Andy as well, who we all work together to bring something back to the community. So we have our hot stove dinner coming up next Friday, which I'm very sorry that we took your anniversary celebration
it's okay.
date.
There's tons of events, so
no
one should be home. There's
okay.
things. There's your hot stove. There's an Ignite party, and then we have a fundraiser.
And as long as you're not mad at us, we're okay.
No, you'll still see me. You'll still see me at the games.
So what we're really thankful for is we wanted to take this dinner, which is something that hasn't been done in 3 or 4 years with the Doubledays, and we wanted to say, how can we turn this into something that's going to benefit our community? So what we decided was we are going to take portions of the profits to donate to food pantries. So there's 5 local food pantries in Auburn. So we're going to start with Auburn, which is our home community, and then we're going to donate a minimum of $100 is what we came up with to each food pantry so that they can take that money and go to the food bank and buy food with it. And then we're also going to donate school supplies to each of the 5 elementary schools in Auburn. So we wanted to see how we can give back, and the 3 of us sit down in a room all the time and we just talk about different things, and one of them was how do we help with the hot stove, and those were the 2 big things that really came to our mind. So it's really coming from the nonprofit world, from Chapel House and Cayuga Seneca Community Action Agency, that was something big that I thought of when I came, was how do we give back, and being able to start with the Doubledays hot stove dinner and then work our way into the season as well, to where we have a community initiative every night that we're going to be trying to raise funds, supplies, food. We have a whole plan in place of how we can help give back to our community. That's something that's just invaluable for me and for, I think, our team as well.
I think the other thing that he talks about is, with the community and giving back. That's, we say this all the time in the office, but it's the right thing to do. Like, it's doing the right thing is the right thing. Like, that's
right.
I think that matters. And I think it's not. We love the publicity. It's great. We more so like it because we just want people to snowball in it, to just take effect. And we do something with Make-A-Wish during the season every Wednesday, where we raise donations for that. Have a Make-A-Wish kid who gets an experience, that gets to go in the clubhouse and on the field and all that maybe wouldn't be able to get to. One night we did it, and we raised it was some crazy, $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 all in one swing.
Awesome.
Because somebody was there was a local sponsor that was in the crowd that said, what, I'm going to match whatever they raise tonight. And then, we matched, and then a local foundation was in attendance, and they met. Who does that? Honestly, I mean, it's
beautiful.
So that's a big deal. I think the hot stove dinner that he talked about hasn't been done in a few years. I think typically it's always been something where they've raised funds for the organization. We kind of said, what, we need to get back to doing that event, number one, so people are talking baseball and understanding what our goals and aspirations are for the community. And at the same time, okay, let's take some of the proceeds and give it back. What do we see as a need? And because we're so close with the community, it's such a small knit group.
Absolutely.
We talk to teachers, and he used to work in the nonprofit side. It's what are the needs? What are you looking for? We need Kleenex and we need tissues. We don't need, not necessarily pencils. Right. Those. We would never know if you didn't ask. So same thing with the food pantries. And I didn't understand. I understand the food pantry side of it, but not the food bank side of it. It's what makes them benefit the most.
Yep.
And that's where Shane's education came into play too. Again, using your resources, I can put a vision together and get a good strategic idea, and then somebody like Shane is a nuts and bolts guy that says, well, let's add this, or this is how I've done it. So again, it goes back to you can't take for granted that you know everything. You got to utilize the tools and resources you have and just piece it together.
Awesome. So talk to me about your shirt.
My shirt?
Yeah.
52 for you. Another organic idea. Shane and I are in...
We were in South Carolina.
Greenville, South Carolina. Minor League Baseball Promotional Seminar. Number one, our organization as a whole, there's 160 minor league clubs. We've never participated in this promotional seminar. I said, we're going. Let's just go. Because... we don't have every idea. I mean, it's called, fancy word is benchmarking in business, right? But we're looking to copy people. What's successful? Yeah. What can we bring to our market? So we're sitting, and it's a lot of awards. So we're voting on teams that have that are giving back to the community and have the craziest promotion and whatever else. And we're talking, and and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, oh, there's a community initiative. So the Greenville Drive, who do an extraordinary job giving back to their community, we're like, wow, it sounds like a similar market. And I'm like, but what's weird, and it's not the award piece I think we talked about. It's not the accolades. It's like, but why do they only do this community initiative during the season? I'm like, shouldn't somebody do it year-round? So we're in Virginia.
We're driving back, yeah.
Right? So we're in Virginia, and I'm sentence fragment, just spitting them out. And I go, what can we do year-round? Like, what can we do? Like, let's come up with something, not just the initiatives, because we do a lot of initiatives on a nightly basis, in our first year, and we're looking to expand that. And he's like, I don't know, we could do this, and I was just like, of course, abruptly interrupted him and said, 52 for you. That's what we're going to call it. He goes, I don't get it. I go, 52 weeks a year, we're going to donate our time as a franchise once a week to something. Whether it's we've done tree lightings at hospice, we've done, my kids and my wife and I went to Salvation Army Thanksgiving morning and delivered 30 dinners.
We did Major Palooza.
We did Major Palooza. Like, any school, go read. I mean, and he goes, well, I don't get it. Like, 52 for you, like 52 weeks for you, the community. That's what we'll call it. And we'll just pick up once a week. That's how it came about. So, we started joking. Of course, everything in the world now is hashtag this and hashtag that. And I'm like, we're going to hashtag it everywhere we go. We're not going to define what it is. We just want to see where it goes. Take the digital world and just... So we were at the league meetings in December, Orlando. We had 6 franchises from across the nation ask us how the 52 for You promotion was going. And we didn't press release it. We didn't really, right? I mean, we did a little bit locally just
awesome. So
people could call us and say, hey, I got this event. Could you guys come? Or can Abner come? All those types of stuff. So that's really what it is. It's we're going to give once a week because we can't, Shane and I beat it up a lot. We can't ask for people to come to our facility and support our team if we're not giving back. Like, that just doesn't make sense. The ways of the world of being selfish, I think you have to be selfless, and I think you have to bring more value to somebody than what your expectation is coming back. That's how we think.
Absolutely.
That's what's great about this team of us, myself, Shane, Andy. Andy is a typical customer. Like, we think about things that we're like, Andy, what would a customer think? Because he thinks like he embeds himself in, well, really, it's got to benefit the customer because, he is so that way.
Yeah, he's a customer-focused guy for sure.
So the pieces that we have just fit, and it's
a great team.
This seems to work.
Absolutely.
So far.
I love that idea, and also you're having the opportunity for people to see you year-round and to make memories with you year-round and to associate that with the Doubledays brand. And
it's crazy, too, because, I was just going to say about the Doubledays brand, we were talking about this. I was like, let's make T-shirts, see what they look like. So I went out and did them, and they were like, well, don't we want a logo on them? And I'm like, no, I don't want the logo. I go, because what's going to happen is people are, first of all, going to see it and ask. Like, we were just in a meeting with somebody that she was like, what does that mean? Bam, got it.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, right? But we didn't want to make it look selfish, I think. Like, we didn't want it to be able to Doubledays thing. And it is. It's tied to us because we have such a unique platform that we can utilize for this. We don't, by any means, think we're a big deal. This professional sports team, and we run a franchise and, all that, like, GM, and we're just normal people in the community just like anybody else. Like, we're not anything really special, I think, right? At least that's what I think.
And I think really what it is we're just fortunate to do something that we love and that we care about, and also to bring in some other things that we're passionate and that we care about.
And connect them.
There are people who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in college to go for sport management, and then they travel around and they intern at 6 or 7 different teams, and they don't get paid, and all of these things just to get a job in sports. And we're lucky enough to where we kind of lucked into it, per se. Not that we lucked into it. I mean, we've worked hard. We've built a name for ourselves in the community. But it was something that we weren't out working for. We were doing other things, and we were working hard in other places. And the opportunity came about. So we're lucky to have an opportunity like this. And so we want to use it to the fullest advantage we can to the community,
I literally called Shane one night and said, hey, let's meet for breakfast tomorrow. Haven't talked to him in months. Probably,
yeah, it was a little while.
I mean, probably a good year. Went to breakfast. I said, I got an opportunity for you. He goes, all right. And I said, we're going to run the Doubledays. He goes, okay. I'm interested. And I'm like, but I don't know if I have the job yet. I said, but when it comes, and this is how I think. I said, when it comes, you're coming. He was like, okay. And I said, well, we haven't really talked, money and all that. He goes, we'll figure it out. Like, I'm in. Like, I get it. I'm ready. Like, that's how it worked. Andy was the same thing.
Yeah.
Andy, one morning, I just called him and I just said, hey, what do you want to get back involved? Because he's done every job down there, too. Like, that's what people, I think, they kind of underestimate. Like, he was security guard. He cooked. He was an usher. He was security. He did everything. He was grounds crew. So he's touched every job. So
he knows the place.
He's a huge practitioner when it comes to that stuff, and I think there's huge value in that. So that's literally how it happened. But I think it's when you believe in something is going to happen, like, you make it happen. There's no sitting and waiting. Like, that's the one thing that we don't do. We don't sit and wait. We don't. We try to make things happen for the best. Sometimes it doesn't work out just because the pieces don't fit. But at the end of it, we're in a unique situation. I think Shane talks about, what's cool for our job is not necessarily the baseball stuff, or we get to talk to famous people, I guess. The cool part is like, the story, I was in BJ's one morning with my family, and we were checking out, and this guy was staring at me, and I had my gear on. I'm rocking everything, I want people to see it. And, he said, and he's looking at me again, and I told my wife, I'm like, you're going to have to bag the groceries yourself. Usually she does anyways, but I said, this guy's looking at me. I said, I'm going to go say hello to him. So I go over, I talk to him, he goes, hey, are you the GM of the Doubledays? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I got a question. I said, okay. He goes, my kid's he's going to play baseball in college, wants to go to sport management. Is it real, number one? And also, it makes sense, like, where should he go? So I talked to him for, 10, 15 minutes, I think. And I was like, honestly, don't go to school for sport management, per se. I go, he's got to be good with numbers, finance. He's got to understand that he's going to do everything. I go, if I could go back all day and go to school for finance, I'd do it in a second, because that's what a lot of it's about. It's about numbers and, all that type of stuff. So we talked 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And my wife's like, come on, can we go? Like, I got milk, got to get the fridge. And the guy was so thankful. Like, oh my God, you just took 50. I'm like, I'm just a normal guy. Like, we're just normal people grocery shopping. Like,
right.
If it benefits him, then that's what it's about. Because it's within our community, which makes our community better, if that makes sense.
It does.
And that's kind of how we run our day-to-day business. Is very simple in that respect. Is how do we help somebody? We try to give as much valuable as possible with no expectation back.
Yeah.
None. It'd be just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Just the way we believe and the way we were raised. So.
Love it. So, you're both dads. I wanted to just ask you if you teach your children about gratitude, or if you talk to them about gratitude.
That's kind of funny. Yes. My kids are so lucky for what they have. And not from me, just the family side of it, all those types of things. I have twins, one Irishman, one Italian, which means people think that they should get more because they're twins. So I have
I'm a twin. That never happened for me.
It's crazy.
We got what we needed.
So what happens is almost every month we pick, I say, all right, boys, get together. Time to grab some toys. Is there anything that you would like to donate to somebody that may not afford it, can't have it, or, and they go pick 4 or 5 things, and it, all the time happens. So we do that every month, kind of as a practice. And, we have conversations like, well, I don't know if you want to get rid of that. No, I'd like to keep that. Okay. I said, but find something. Okay, I'd like to donate this. I'd like to donate that. So we do talk about that a lot. Like I said, every 52 for You event that I go to that is kid-friendly, or I can bring my kids to, Salvation Army, like we did Major Palooza the day before, I think, right? We bagged goods to donate. My kids were there bagging stuff, just so they understand.
And they see it.
And you never know what position you're going to be in, where you might need that too. Mm-hmm. So we definitely talk about it. I don't think we talk about it enough. I think I'm very lucky for the platform that we have.
Yeah.
And the way that we do this platform, especially at the ballpark, where they get to really see. They don't probably see it now as an advantage for them, but it'll be something that they'll understand down the road. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So.
Perfect.
Yeah. What's really nice about my family is, I've grown up in a church, and we still go to church, and we're a faithful family, so to speak. So we talk a lot about being thankful for everything we have. Whether it's something that we've worked hard for or something that we're blessed with, we talk a lot about being thankful for what we have, being thankful that we're able to eat a meal every night, being thankful that We don't have to go to the food pantry. We don't have to go stand in line to get help with paying our bills, to get help with buying food, to get help with having a roof over our head.
Right.
So my kids are hilarious. Every night they both fight over who gets to pray and thank God for what we have. And we do the same thing that Adam does: is what are we not using? What is it that somebody else may need that we have that we don't play with? Whether it's our clothing, my wife and I will go through our closets and we'll pull out stuff that we don't wear, but that's in good condition that we can give to, a couple of my favorite charities, so to speak, are the Chapel House. After working there for quite some time, I know what they need, and I know that a lot of the things that I have are very useful to a place like the Chapel House. So, just to go through our closets, and when our kids, unfortunately right now we can't give away a lot of clothes because we pass them down from the 4 to the 2 to the 2 months. So now we're at a point where, okay, we're out of the newborn stuff. Who can we give that to? We're going to be out of 0 to 3 months soon. Who can we donate that to? And whether it's to a rescue mission who does family homeless services, or whether it's to a family we know who may not be quote unquote, have the need public assistance, but they're struggling to get by in a certain way. It's not so much we have to give to charity, but we want to give back to people, and we want to help people, especially those that we know and that we care about.
Yes.
And then whatever we can't find for those people that we know and care about, who else can we help with that? So I'm very fortunate to have a wife who's very supportive about giving back and about
putting up with me.
That's a very true statement. But my wife actually works for Cayuga County and sees folks in the intake department as they come in to get qualified for public assistance or the SNAP program.
Sure.
So she has a heart for giving. She has a heart for people. So I'm very fortunate that both of us are in that same kind of position in life, and we do everything we can to pass that down to our kids, because we don't want to raise a generation of kids who are entitled, who take what they have for granted. We want them to understand that you have to work hard for what you have, and the excess that you have, the things that you have that you don't need, who else can benefit from those, and who else can we help by giving them the things that we don't use as much.
That's beautiful. Yeah, we do the same thing at our house too, and actually, I just finished washing lots of little newborn stuff for a hockey family. I'm gonna bought the baby soap and everything, so she doesn't have to worry about any of it. So
it's funny you mentioned hockey too, because I'm very fortunate and passionate about the game in general, because that game gave me a lot growing up. So I selfishly, but I bought a rink for my kids for the backyard. It's not very big, but enough for them to give them something to do just in the wintertime, active, and they like to play, obviously. Yeah. So Dad likes to play too, and his buddies, so they also participate in that. But every time somebody comes over, the rule is you got to bring a canned good, and then we match it as a family. To then we just drop it off, or I give it to Terry Clifford, who does so many selfless things with the Salvation Army. Say, hey, take this bag. I had people over this weekend. Take 20 cans and some pasta, and
That's
those
awesome.
little things, because my kids have to understand that it's a luxury to have a hockey rink in your backyard, so to speak.
Yeah.
But how do we understand that we're lucky, and how do we give back at the same time without it being a selfish act?
That's awesome. My dad used to flood our side yard.
Yeah,
I grew up in New
exactly.
Hampshire. We
Yep.
played hockey
Yep.
with his old UN hockey equipment. It's good. Making memories.
I just saw the picture of you and Grandpa that you posted on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Grandpa, that was me in 1985.
Nice.
Wow.
And my kids, they're very fortunate. I grew up with one set of grandparents. My other side was not around by the time I was born. But my kids are blessed. They have two sets of grandparents. Mm-hmm. So both of mine and my wife's parents are still around and doing very well. And they also have 4 great-grandparents on my wife's side. So they're very fortunate, and they hear a lot from the great-grandparents about the things they dealt with growing up that we don't have a lot of ideas about. We didn't have to go through. So they're very fortunate to have those things in their life as well. So, it doesn't just come from my wife and I, it comes from our parents, it comes from their parents. So it's really quite a blessing to have those folks in our lives. And
absolutely.
so when I saw that picture, that's immediately what
awesome.
I thought about is like, I remember being with my grandpa in the backyard and playing wiffle ball.
Yeah.
And my grandpa was in a wheelchair or a walker pretty much his whole life. He had polio and TB when he was a kid. But he would still get out and he'd put his walker out in the middle of the yard. He'd put his seat down and he'd throw me wiffle balls, and I'd hit them across the yard. So it brought back those memories for me
Awesome.
of how I was thankful to have those years with my grandpa before he passed.
Yeah, and I think, when you're a kid, you don't always know that you should be savoring these moments.
Absolutely.
Not even close.
So I think it's our responsibility as parents to help make sure that grandparent and child connection can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to see if there's anything else that you want to talk about or to share.
I think from the community side and gratitude and giving back, I think it's also, for me, I wouldn't say competition, but I would in a selfish way, in the respect that, like, I have, like my parents, for example. My mother obviously is my mother, so she raised myself and my two sisters, which is 3 jobs in itself. I think also, my father worked in the public safety world, was a fireman, was the first fireman in Auburn, became the fire chief, retired. Still works to this day, worked for Oneida Indian Nation, was the first public safety commissioner. So saved lives his whole life, like gives back, right?
I'm a fire chief's daughter.
See, there you go. My sisters, my Chelsea, who is so book smart, sometimes it's a tough time to have a conversation with her on the street level, but love her to death. She's an OR nurse, so like that's what she does. Like, again, give back, My youngest sister, she's in occupational therapy. Like, she gives back, and I'm like, what in God's name do I do? I was like, Shane, we throw 38 parties. Like, what are we doing? Like, what am I doing with myself? So there's a selfish piece of giving back, too, because I just want to sit at the same dinner table that my family sit at. I don't give as much as, they do, so to speak. So I think it's funny and intriguing that piece of it, I think you also have to understand where you came from and who you surround yourself with, and then just find your platform that works and do the best you can to give as much as you can to where you're at.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw a selfish plug in for us as well as a team. We can't support the community the way we want to unless the community comes and supports us as well. So we need as many people as we can have come to the ballpark every summer. So our opening day is June 15th. We play until August 31st. There's a little part on his sleeve here that says 106-400. So that for us is a goal that we have, and it's a mindset that we have, that we want to fill the seats every game that we have. So 38 games, 2,800 people a game will give you this number. Selfishly, we want those people in the seats because we want to do well. But if we have those people in the seats every game and they're bringing in $1 a piece, or they're bringing in a box of pasta or a bag of rice, imagine what we can do for our community with 2,800 people coming to our park every day willing to give as little as $1. Can you imagine $2,800? Let's round it to $2,500. If we can give $2,500 a game for 38 games, imagine what we can do for our community. And that's as little as $1 per person. We don't charge for parking. We have very inexpensive ticket prices. Mm-hmm. So for someone to come to our game and say, instead of paying $5 to go park here and go watch this other game or this other event, let me take that $5 and give it back to a community cause. Imagine what we can do as a community of baseball fans, of event fans, of party fans. Imagine what we can do for our community for as little as $1. And that's, I think, where the selfish part is for us, is we want to fill our seats selfishly, but we want to fill them so we can do positive things for our community. So yes, it's selfish. We want people there, but we want people there to give back.
That's awesome. Can't wait for it. So June 15th.
June 15th. Yep, and it's going to be a great season. We've got a lot planned. We're updating our website right now. So if people have questions about what community programs we're going to be putting into place, how they're able to help with our 52 for You initiative, how they're able to help with our season-long community initiatives that we do, how they're able to help Make-A-Wish, how they're able to help with any military programs that we're doing. We want people to come to our website, to go to our Facebook page, to go to our Twitter page, so that they can learn what we need to be able to give back and help. We, as a 3-person full-time staff, can't do enough to give back and to help.
Amen.
But if we can rally the community behind us and have the community say, you know what, instead of going to dinner somewhere 2 nights a week, we're going to go to dinner once, and we're going to go to the Doubledays once. And when we go to the Doubledays, it's a chance for us not just to spend money on a night out and a good time, but to also spend money on our community to help it. And that's really what we want people to buy into and what we want people to be a part of. It's not baseball. We always say, oh, by the way, there's a baseball game going on. We have so much more than just baseball. If you like baseball, great. If you love baseball, great. Come and join us and enjoy that aspect. But if not, it's okay. Right. We have so many other things that you can do, and we're doing so much to try and help the community that coming to a Doubledays game is more than giving your money to a baseball team. It's giving your money back to the community and being a part of the place where you live.
Oh, by the way, we're community owned. Like, we're not privately owned. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that just throws the other, like, we are community owned. Like, this whole team started because guys went door to door to sell stock to have a professional baseball team here. Like, the people in this community who wrote for the local newspaper or worked for the local, like, that's, you know, they were doctors and they loved the sport and saw it was a community gathering for people to go to. Like, that's what it is. It's, who doesn't like being out? You know, we always talk about, you know, what do you do on the weekends? Oh, we go here, we eat and we drink and we talk and, you know, we watch sports and, oh, okay, well, we offer all of that. How have you not heard of us?
And it's outside.
Yeah. And shame on us if you haven't heard of us.
Yep.
You know, that's the whole thing that we're changing the dynamic of that
Absolutely.
the play of it. Luckily for the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world and the digital media that we're able to reach those people that we might not be able to reach to before, that all we're trying to do is gain people's attention and get them to understand that we're just trying to give you an event where it gives you some value and at the same time give back to those that where we live within this community, whether it's Cayuga County, Seneca County, Onondaga County, it doesn't matter, you know. We're just trying to give back at the end of the day. That's all it's about.
Yeah, and I think what's really nice for us is we've seen the growth. So one of the things we look at are the analytics of our website, of our social media, and something that was really, really powerful for us and positive for us coming off of this last year. We had the 4th largest percentage growth in our social media over the past year. In all of minor league baseball, which Adam said before is 160 teams, we were the 4th largest growing social media team, which means we're doing something right. Awesome. And part of what we're doing right, I think, is how we're relating to the community, how we're giving back to the community. So the more we can grow with our brand awareness and with the awareness of what we're doing, the more we're going to be able to help. So we want to continue to grow that digital media. So every time we put something out about how we're helping the community, so let's say it's a Thursday and we're doing a hunger and homeless night this year, and we say we need, you know, you bring in food, whether it's box mac and cheese, whether it's pasta, rice, whatever it is you can bring. We'll give you a little discount off your ticket price. We'll let you come have a great night of fun. And oh, by the way, at the end of the night when we have this garbage, like a garbage can full of food that we take to a food pantry, you know that you had a part in doing that. And the more people we can reach with that message, the more it's going to help in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, keep sharing, keep telling people about what we're doing so that we can continue to grow and build what we're doing for the community as well.
I look forward to it. That's awesome. Thank you. So that does bring us to the end of our time together. Please come back and join us next week where we'll have 2 more guests on January 23rd. But until then, please share your gratitude and share our podcast with others and help them learn a little bit more about the Auburn Doubledays and the 52 for You campaign. Have a great day.